just won bronze in box stock and silver in tune class in the 856 Mini 4-wheel drive races.
The final.
Yes. And we have here lane 1. We have Chris. Yes, what's the name of this car?
Tangerine.
The tangerine, there you go.
We have lane 2, the Sally Racer. Yes. And lane 3, we have
Cooper.
Cooper.
The Cooper car.
Cooper car.
It's a Cooper car.
Cooper car?
All right, let's start them up, everybody.
I'm gonna start, right?
Ready, set, go!
One. Thank you, Sam. 3. 4. Most of them just gotta stay on the track. That's left. Lena.
Cooper.
3, 2, 1, go.
Second start point. Ready, set, go!
That's my sending. 1. Have a trouble. 2. 4. Okay.
Good job, good job. All right, so this is the finals for tune class of 856 Mini 4-wheel drive racing. And we have here in lane 1, my Black Bear car. We have here in lane 2, Chris's car.
That's Harry Manok.
Yes. And lane 3, another Chris's car.
That's Baby Blue.
Yes. Very cool. Shall we start them up?
All right.
Ready, set, go!
Left. This is it.
So yes, against stellar competition, I prevailed and won bronze in box stock and silver in tune class. Yes! So these are both animal racers. So it was the animal racers that took home the prizes, the podium prizes this month. Yes, at 856 Mini. This is John Velisper's wonderful races in Oakland, New Jersey. Yes, and here's John right here with his 856 jersey. Very, very cool. Front and back. Yes, very, very cool. And here is the track layout. It is an awesome track layout. It was basically a track that took up a large part of the dining room space. Very, very cool. Yes, we had overpasses, underpasses. We had a little bit of an incline right there. Yes, tabletop areas. Very, very cool. Very, very challenging. Technical track all the way. Yes, very, very cool. And at the end of this video, you'll see a bonus video on me racing my open class car on this very track. Very, very cool. So let me give you some ideas of what went on with our box stock and tune class races. So for box stock, the Sally Racer VZ chassis was the one that basically took me to the promised land in this particular race. Unfortunately, my faster cars didn't quite do it because they kept coursing out or doing heck knows what. And it's just like, what is going on here? This is a super fast car, and it kept coursing out at inopportune times. Yeah. And this one here, everybody knows Shiva, right? This also coursed out at inopportune times and also was a little slower than it should have been. So this, again, I've said this before and I'll say it again, this is getting long in the tooth. So every now and again, you can't just keep racing the same cars. You have to upgrade them or replace them with other cars in your arsenal of cars. So this had its wonderful time, I think 2 years ago actually, if memory serves me right. And yeah, this was a very formidable car when it first came out. But it's still pretty good, but not as good as other cars that are newer. And the funny thing about this car is I'm pretty sure this is not the engine I originally had in it. So the motor I had in it was a super fast motor, and I was racing it at side bite, and it kept coursing out in the last lap. So I decided to downgrade by putting in a slower motor, and that stayed on the track here, and it was still plenty fast. So that was pretty darn cool. So yeah, I can't say that the mods that I made on here helped any. So I put a lot of the stickers towards the front, so they would weigh down towards the front. And we're talking about like half an ounce of sticker weight right here. So all the stickers that you see on the sticker sheet, instead of putting them here, I shifted them towards the front. And I think that helped a little bit, but yeah, not enough. So the people that raced against me, they had polycarbonate shell box stock cars, and they were the same kind of car, the Hurricane Sonic. And so on this particular track, the Hurricane Sonic was really, really formidable. Darn, I should have brought my Hurricane Sonic, but as luck would have it, it's got like a little bit of wear and tear on that too. So I'm not sure that would have done any better than Sally Racer here. For Sally Racer being like a hard shell car, it did pretty well. So yeah, I'm very, very happy about my placement on the podium this month. It's pretty good. Hard shell versus polycarbonate. Yeah, very cool. So, box stock. And then for tune class, we have here the Black Bear car. And this has been getting like a lot of looks lately because like it's an animal racer. It's the Black Bear. It is so cool. Black Bear Kumamon. How can you go wrong with that? Kumamon adds luck to any race car. I will say that. Yes, very, very cool. And so I made it like a very sleek kind of look. I removed the spoiler in the rear so that it would lessen the weight of this car and make it more aerodynamic from the front to the rear. And yeah, you see, basically front rollers 12-13s, you see 19mm rollers in the rear. Yeah, all Tamiya parts. Very, very cool. And the bottom here, we've got the Super 2 wing with, yeah, these side plates right here. Very, very cool. I replaced the big wheels that I had before with medium-size wheels, and I think that really made a difference. The bigger wheels just caused this to jump off the track a lot. Now, this is a heavy car. This got a lot of damper weight on it, and yeah, I see that it looks like I bent the front screw from impacts and stuff. But yeah, this got into lane 1 very, very easily, but I think like we talked about the psychology of cars, right? So you get into lane 1, and then like you're not necessarily the fastest. You were just faster than everybody who didn't want to course out of the track. But then lanes 2 and 3, whoever makes lanes 2 and 3, they've had a lot of experience racing on that track. And so they get a chance to fine tune their cars a little bit more. So that's why I think that, at least for tune class and maybe open class, you've got a better chance of winning if you won in the later rounds, because you have built up all of that experience racing on the track and fine tuning it to what you feel is the optimal setup for your car. Here, getting into lane 1, yeah, I beat a bunch of fast cars, but then I get complacent, right? So I'm just sitting there going and waiting for my turn to go in the finals, and by that point in time, I'm like, I've got this false sense of confidence here, and so I'm just going to put in like the fastest batteries and see what happens, and if I don't get first, oh well. And yeah, that's kind of what happened. So my batteries could have been a little, like charged a little bit more. I actually had batteries that were quickly sapping out, but that's no excuse. So yeah, I ended up with silver in this. And this was not the fastest car in the track. You'll see in the race videos, this was not the fastest car in the track, but for the first lane, it was in fact the fastest, but again, everybody was trying to basically stay on the track. So second and third lanes, everybody was just going blindingly fast. So fast that I think whatever people did, maybe pulling out all stops, putting in the most powerful batteries just to see if they can like totally win, then yeah, that's exactly what happened. And so this ended up second. Oh well. Now the other two cars, this was pretty fast too, but it also coursed out at inopportune times, and I'm going to tell you that yeah, this is a classic car, right, from my arsenal. This is I would say my oldest Tune Class car, my very first Tune Class car. Wait, that's not entirely true. No. I had that other car, the Thunder, what was it called? It was like a Thundershot or something like that. And it was older than that. It was the one from 1996. Yeah. And I had built it and turned it into a Tune Class like almost immediately. And it was very, very formidable. So this is my second Tune Class car. And yeah, this is fast. And the cornering ability, really, really good because of these small tires and the torque-tuned engine. Yeah. And yeah, like you can't go wrong with the Panda Bear car. This is a classic car. This initially was a Super 2 chassis, and then I changed it to a VZ chassis because the Super 2 canopy just fits exactly on a VZ chassis with no issues. And yeah, you just make sure that you put in a really good torque-tuned motor in here and you're flying. And it's really, really cool. So it's either a 3.5 or 3.7 gear ratio in here. And yeah, I think it's 3.5 to be quite honest. So 3.7, I experimented with that for a while, and it turns out that, like, given a choice between 3.5 and 3.7, it's like, it's not, like, you don't really get that much of a torque advantage. The speed that you lose with 3.7 is just not worth it in some cases. So I usually race 3.5 when it comes to torque tuned. Now, there are cases in which you want to race 4:1 gear ratio, especially on tracks that have a lot of twisty turns and a lot of technicality. So that's where you want to move up to something like 4:1 gear ratio, or even higher in some cases. So having that 3.7:1 gear ratio, I don't see it as such a great thing anymore. Like, it's either 3.5 or 4, and that 3.7 is like, yeah. Like, you could adjust in battery power to make up for certain things, and you could like go between 3.5 and 4, and you can skip that 3.7 altogether. So take that as you will. Adjusting battery power with either 3.5 or 4.0 is, I believe, the way to go. So here we have the classic Eagle, and this would be, I suppose, my third oldest car, right? So this has won a fair share of races, and now it's kind of long in the tooth. It's very old in the tooth. And so, yeah, I usually switch between medium size and small size diameter wheels and tires. And for this particular race, I just decided to go small for this one, even though I really should have gone medium for this one, I think. So this was staying on the track very, very well. It's just a little slower than everybody's. So yeah, I feel the rollers here being kind of tight, and they're not as rolly. They're not spinning as freely as they should be spinning, and that's a shame. So I didn't really put a lot of care into getting this one ready, unfortunately. But it was nice to see this on a track again, so that was very, very cool. But yeah, this is basically my Tune Class car that I like a lot because it seems to be doing fairly well so far until some crashes happen on this one, I suppose. And I can see that potentially happening, but hopefully not anytime soon. I think the only thing that's kind of like mucked up on this is this red wing. I might have to replace the red wing at some point. But otherwise, everything looks like it's in order, really good. Yeah, I think the weights on here, very, very good. This is a very heavy car. It's going to stay on the track, and it's very fast. And yeah, you want that kind of thing, where the car hugs the track with rechargeable batteries, and yeah, and you want it to be fast. You want it to have good cornering ability. You want it to have good top speed. So this kind of combination right here is the way to go for Super 2 cars. Yeah, and yeah, I've impressed myself with this because like Super 2 is, for me, Super 2 is like the bane of my existence for the longest time. Like, I started with the Super 2 on here, and I made it go as fast as I could, and then I couldn't anymore, and then that's why I switched to VZ, and I had better success with that. And then now I've come full circle back to Super 2. And I would like to thank Evan Theo for kind of inspiring me to go back to Super 2, because I saw his cars and they were mega fast, and I thought to myself, yeah, I think I can make a Super 2 fast car too. And so yeah, he inspired me in that. And so that's why I won second place in this race here. So very, very cool against a very formidable racer, Chris. Yes, Chris had 2 cars in the race. His cars are always super fast. And yeah, his one car just totally blew by mine, and yeah, but it coursed out. So the other one was pretty darn fast too. It was always like ahead of mine. So yeah, I should have just put in like full stop total battery power. I had it charged to 152 volts, and then I didn't charge until the very end. Like I basically had the battery sitting in there for a little bit. So I could have charged them up to 153, 154, but who knows? Maybe this would have coursed out, right? So you never know what's going to happen unless you have good data. So that's why racing up until you get to the final rounds, the final laps, it's a chance, but you know, like you get more experience racing your car. But you also get the potential thing of, well, your cars can course out and crash into things more so the more experience your car has. So that's the trade-off right there. So you have to kind of like figure out, well, I could get my cars into the first lane very quickly, and then I don't have to like potentially smash my car into a wall if it courses out, or you can keep racing and then getting more experience and fine-tuning, honing your car until it's perfect. But then you have to hope that you don't crash into anybody else or course out and crash into a wall. You have to think about it like potentially what's the best situation for you. So in many cases, you want to get to that lane one so you can just kind of chill out and rest for the rest of the race. But then again, you also want to be able to race your best car in the race. And I believe that a racer's best car, they won't really know unless they've raced for all three lanes. That's how you know that. If you can survive the three lanes, you've got a very formidable car. I've only survived one lane, lane one. So this is fast, but it's not as fast as it could be because I don't know how much I could have taxed this car, right? So I could have taxed it much harder in going for the second and third lanes, but I'm glad that I got this in the first lane. It was like a load off my mind. I was like, yeah, now I can rest a little bit, and then I can try to get one or the other of these other cars into the finals as well. So yeah, there was a good chance with this one, but unfortunately, that's the way the ball bounces. Yeah. So yeah, you'll find that Mini 4-wheel drive racing is very exciting. You never know what's going to happen. Sometimes you can win by total luck, and that's a thing. That's really a thing. And you know what? If you keep getting lucky, that means it's skill, right? So nobody's lucky like for the longest time. It's got to be skill after a while. So if you keep winning, it's definitely skill. If you win once in a while, it's luck. So and sometimes it's like, well, sometimes the ball bounces your way. That's what's lucky about winning sometimes. And it's cool. It's cool when you win by luck sometimes. Very, very cool. So here is the final video for racing open class. This is for an unofficial open class. It's a non-race. We're just going to see these cars in action, and yeah, pretty cool on a 3-lane track right here. 856 Mini 4-wheel drive racing. Yes, very, very cool. Are we ready?
3, 2, 1, go. Three, two, one, go.
Now, open class, when I was racing in the pre-game event, before anybody raced, I just like put my open class car down and it went 3 laps with no issues. But you'll see, after a while, things started getting loose, and so I think I flew out before I was able to reach the full 6 laps, unfortunately. But I feel that my car was more than capable of completing 6 laps if it was honed properly. So yeah, the thing is, though, with open class, it's a very finicky kind of class. So you have to make sure that things are totally within the parameters, within the specs. Because if something is off by a minute amount, you're just going to either course out or crash into something, or somebody else will crash into you by chance. A roller is slightly off and you'll just course out. Your sponge brakes aren't properly set and you'll course out. your body damper isn't set properly and you'll course out. Like, there's so many chances of coursing out in an open class race that it turns off a lot of racers, right? So I'm going to tell you right now that you should not be disheartened by open class. So if you course out a lot in open class, that's okay. You're learning how to build an open class car. If you course out a lot, that's okay. You're going to learn from each and every course out. So I think open class is the one class where you can honestly say to yourself, well, I coursed out, but it's because of this. Like, you kind of know why your car courses out. I mean, there's a chance that you have absolutely no idea why the car courses out, but in general, you tend to know because there will be other people around you. They'll be looking at your car. You'll be looking at your car. You'll be studying your car very closely, and you're going to kind of see, even though there's like a blurred vision of cars, like your car might be going so blindingly fast that it's a blur, but you can kind of see why the thing courses out at a certain spot. If it keeps coursing out the same spot, you have to look at your brake situation. That's easy. If something happens and you kind of flipped backwards and go backwards on a certain segment of track, you have to look at your brake situation. that's there. Second time I said that. If your car corkscrews on a certain segment of track, you have to look at your brake situation. So yeah, so some people race their cars without any brakes, and that's an art form in itself. You have to make sure that your car is heavy enough to be able to deal with the track. So here I'm going to show you, now remember, guys, you saw this 20 car case. You want to contact Chewy Racing to get your 20 car case. So yeah, this here stores 20 cars, and I was able to store my box stock, tune class, and open class cars in here. And yeah, here was the open class car that I raced right here. Very, very cool. And I'm going to show you some of the things that are on here that are kind of cool. So, besides the body damper, very, very cool. Besides the tail damper, which I refabbed, very, very cool. We got here, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah. Car catcher brake. Now you're going to rewind and freeze that image so you can see it more closely. So here we have a regular brake with tape over it. Yes. And we have Mad Tang tires. Yeah. But you can get tires from anyone, right, that you trust, that can make like these kind of like part sponge on the outside and low fricks and super hard, right? And these might be carbon wheels, but I'm not sure. I think they are. And the chassis itself, right? Very smooth chassis. It's a Mad Tang chassis. So the only thing that I didn't build right here is the chassis. Like, I didn't fabricate the chassis myself. And the wheels, of course. The tires, that is. But everything else, totally fabricated by me. And yeah, it's got my own little like funky things in there. Like, this is like the rocker switch thing, and yeah, very, very cool. And this is like very, very nice, but it's got like this, you need to replace the tape on here, and then this pivot will be stiffer. So had I done that before my race at the very end, the video that you just saw, this probably would have survived all 6 laps and more. So yeah, I had already raced it in the pregame, like I said, and that probably wore out some things. So yeah, very, very cool. So I also like color matching things, as you probably guessed. So that's why like I've got completely like all red screws everywhere. It used to be the case that I would just scrounge up any old color screws, lock nuts that is, and then just attach all the different colored lock nuts on my car, and I would call it a day. So you would see that on like Scooby-Doo, one of my first open class cars. And it was kind of funny to see that because it was like a jalopy of a car. And then I had Candy. Remember that one? That was like a fabrication of all the junk parts that I had lying around. And then it ended up being like one of my fastest cars at 43 kilometers per hour. And it was like medium-sized wheels. And it's like, whoa, that's pretty fast, 43 kilometers per hour. And it was like just speeding around the track like crazy. And yeah, so you want to basically gain as much experience as you can in the open class car category so that you can improve on your cars for future purposes. So the more open class cars you build, the more awesome your cars will be in the future. So you're probably not going to get a pretty decent open class car until, I would say, your 5th build, right? So the first bunch of builds, you're just learning how to do things. You're learning what could work and what doesn't work. And then you take the things that you know work and you move it to another car, the next car. And then you build it again, you race it again, play test it again, and then you find out more things that do work. And you take that whole set of things that works into the next car. And you keep doing this until you get to like car number 5, and then your car number 5, I think this might be car number 6. Car number 5, no, 7. I built a lot of open class cars. And they were like all wacky designs, and some of them are really cool. Like Tarantula, for example, MA chassis car, that was really fast. Once you get that experience, then you can build something that will rival other people's MS suspension cars. We're talking about like fraction of an inch wins in open class in many cases. And so you could either choose to win, right, winning fraction of an inch, or you can choose to win and beat the rest of the competition by several car lengths. It's your choice. What do you want to do, right? So most people would be content with just beating the top tier people and being like inches ahead of them, and that's cool. But if you want to build a car that's so fast and stays hugging the ground, then you have to think more about like how heavy can I make this car but still make it light enough so that it stays on the track. That's how you have to think. So you're going to have to weigh everything. You're going to have to take into consideration so many more things than the average person if you want to blow by everybody on the track. If you just want to win by a fraction of an inch, you can do it. You could do it by continuing to build your open class cars to a point where you get really good at it, and the person who's more precise building their cars is usually the winner. And that's how that works. So yes, that's basically how you would build an awesome open class car. And for tune class, a lot of people think that tune class is easier than open class, but I really don't think so. I think that because you're given the limitations, right, you're forced to work within limitations, whereas open class you could do whatever. But working within limitations, it's a lot harder, I think, to get things to kind of fit properly, to kind of like work properly together. It's hard, right? You have to find the right combination that works. And just because I have this combination here and it seems to work for me doesn't mean that it's going to work for you, because if you copy this whole thing and made exactly the same car for you, it's probably going to behave differently. Maybe not by a lot, but it's going to behave differently enough such that at some point you're probably going to get frustrated with it. And so the thing is, you have to learn how to make adjustments yourself. So you might need a brake on the bottom, whereas I have this tape over here, right? You might need a brake on the rear like I have. It's basically up to you and the track and the race and your competitors that you're competing against. It's so many factors. Depends on so, like all these different things here, all of these different nuances of a car. It depends. That's the best answer I can give. It depends, and that's how you should be building your car. So for box stock, again, you are limited to the stuff that's in the box, and you're not supposed to stray beyond the box. So exchanging like canopies from one car to another is supposed to be a no-no, but it depends on your racing event. And so yeah, the racing event organizer has the final say, always. So just because you don't feel it's fair, doesn't matter. The racing organizer is the one who makes the rules. So always ask the racing organizer if you can race a certain car, if you're not totally 100% confident about it. So yeah, very, very cool. So yes, everybody, if you like this video, please slam the like button, subscribe to my channel. You'll see more videos just like this one. Until next time, everybody, see you. Bye.